Okay, guys. So, okay, I was just thinking, see, one is of course the interview preparation, what you guys are doing, what you want to learn. But there is also another thing which is part of course, interview preparation, which is needed, but also important for your life and career, which is basically facing fear. So this session, let us have it as a very interactive session, no lecturing from me on from one side, right? I just want to understand from you because I think some of you, maybe a couple of you were in some earlier session where we talked about fear or something. I just wanted to understand what is your idea of fear and whether fear is good or bad. Come on.
Sometimes I feel it is good, sir. But
Hmm.
other times it is not. Times when I don't feel like working or doing some work, that fear will make me do the work. So it is like pushing me.
Beautiful, beautiful. In fact, that's exactly what I also wanted to say because we usually think fear is bad. They say don't be afraid, be fearless and everything. Yes, we should be fearless, but sometimes fear is good. And rather than avoiding fear, we should face fear. So, what is the difference between avoiding fear and facing fear? Any example?
So not going near water bodies, is avoiding fear, and learning to swim is facing the fear.
Beautiful. Very nice, very nice, very nice. Can you give an example from your interview preparation? Anyone? When you are preparing for an interview, what is the difference between avoiding fear and facing fear?
Not answering the questions.
Okay, so somebody was saying, what was the what? Yeah,
Excuse me, sir. I will be leaving by 8:30 as I have another meeting with
no
Prayag.
problem. So, what is the difference between avoiding fear and facing fear with respect to your interview preparation?
Sir, avoiding fear, for example, uh, we know the answer, but still we have the fear to reply to a question that the interviewer is asking. That was on avoiding fear. And another is facing a fear. We can even attend a mock interview before attending the real interview. So, in that way, we can be confident in the interview.
Exactly, exactly. See, whenever you're afraid of something, right, we usually do two things because it comes from human nature, fight or flight, sorry, fight or flight. So, because this came from our genes when we were actually not the genes span, but genes, right? So, genes. So, see, when early human beings, right? Whenever human beings, where did we live?
Caves, sir.
Caves,
Caves.
forests. So human beings were afraid of everything. Now, when they faced something, when do we usually fear? Generally,
We didn't experience anything.
exactly when something is new, when something is not known to us, when we have not experienced it before. So imagine they see a snake or they see a big animal, they see a big mammoth, right? Whatever, and they have not seen it before, or they have seen it but they don't know how that will behave, whether it is safe for them or not. So when they see something unknown so far or something, then actually it is they suddenly get, how to say, that fright, the fear, that instinct. But then they used to respond in two ways. Obvious impulses to run away from the place. It's called flight, running away. Sometimes human beings, they also decided to fight against it. Imagine, for example, if it's a small animal, imagine it's a wolf. Though wolf is very ferocious or something, they may actually think, fine, you know what, with a stone in hand, with a stick in hand or something, they think they can fight. When do we fight? When do we have flight? Very simple. If there is something really worthy for us, something worthwhile for us to fight, then we fight. If we think, no, my life or my safety, security is more important than what I have to get, then we have flight. Imagine there is food. Imagine they have killed an animal for food in the forest. At that same time, a wolf comes, a jackal or a fox or something comes. Of course, they're afraid that wolf is like a dog, right? Wild dog, it may come and bite. But they are so hungry, their family is hungry, and they have to take that food to their family. So what will they do? They will fight because they believe that food is more important for them, actually, and for their family than their personal safety. So they fight. But sometimes, if the animal is bigger, like a lion, or they think they can get that food somewhere else, another animal they can kill, they run away, right? So this is how we evolved. So now, what are the key learnings actually from this instinct? We have not changed much. Our instinct, we are not living in caves or forests anymore. We are not fighting for food. We are not going and killing animals for food. But that instinct has stayed. So, whenever we face something unknown, we always have that fear. I think, Shweta, you are in one of the earlier discussions where I used to talk about this dark room, right? Going and switching the light on. It's the same example. When there is something dark, something unknown, our first instinct is we stop for a moment. Even when we are progressing, proceeding, we stop. Now we decide, hey, there is something that's not known to me, something dark, some risk, some threat. I don't know. Should I go ahead or not? Some people decide to still go ahead. And when they face some fear, they decide to fight. Some people, when they see something is unknown or something, they immediately turn back and give up. But same like our ancestors, right, living in caves and forests, we also can decide how to fight and not fly away or walk away or flee. So, if the thing that we want is worth fighting for, then we will always fight. How to make things worthy fighting for? Imagine you are in an interview. You have public speaking fear. You think you're not good in English. You're not good in communication skills. You're not good in something or some subject, technical subject. And what will you do? Of course, you have the option of flight. What is flight? Not attend any interview. Is that an option for you? Not to attend any interview at all?
No,
No,
sir.
right?
No, sir.
Because what is there? What is the prize when you clear the interview? It's a job. A job is not just a job. It's not something that gives you money alone. It gives you security. It gives you social status. It gives you learning opportunities. It gives you growth opportunities. So many things. So you really think the interview is worth fighting for? That fear is worth fighting for. Fear of all the things that makes you afraid of attending an interview or facing an interviewer. So what will you do? You will fight. How to actually then prepare to fight the fear? One thing is, of course, to think of the purpose or the benefit, what lies beyond. One second. Purpose. So if you think of the benefits, you visualize. This is called positive visualization. Have you heard of positive visualization?
Yes.
They say
Yes, sir.
you become what you believe. Right? Whatever you think, you become that. So, one real good technique I have always used whenever I'm afraid. See, I'm speaking to you. Do you think I'm afraid of public speaking? Generally, you don't know me, for example, and you are only seeing me now. What will you say? Am I afraid of public speaking?
No, sir. Actually, you are very good at no, sir. From my point of view.
Beautiful. Shall I tell you one thing? Every time I go to the stage, I am afraid. Every time I have to get up and do a presentation for my team members or for my customer, I have fear. Every time I have to do something in front of people, I have fear. I get goosebumps. I get dry throat. I start shivering and reflex. It's uncontrollable. It's not without my control, but it's natural. But still, I go ahead and do that because I know. Come on, he say, okay, fine. Hey, you only fear. Okay, fine, no problem. Hi, and then go ahead and still do it. So fear is there even for the biggest, for the greatest people. We are. I am no one. I'm not that much of a big public speaker compared to many other great people. But even those great people get fear. So, fear can be faced in multiple ways. One thing is positive visualization. If you do what you are afraid of, in Hindi, there is a saying. I think when you watch right in TV or cricket matches at that time, there is an advertisement that comes. I think it's Hrithik Roshan. It's thumbs up or some advertisement. I think you can Google it. Thumbs up advertisement. Hrithik Roshan or somebody whoever. There is a saying. They say "Dar ke aage jeet hai." It means beyond fear there is victory. Means, and there's also saying the only way is through. Through. You know what it means? I'll write it down.
to Google.
So whenever you think, if I do this thing, what I'm afraid of, there are benefits. Because sometimes this positive visualization, you are already, it's a mindset, right? So whenever you visualize, you know what visualization means, right? To visualize. நினைக்கிறது ஆக்சுவலா அது இன்னும் நடக்கல ஆனா நினைக்கிறது. You place yourself, practice it. It just out of curiosity, right? Practice it. After this session today or tomorrow, just take some 15 minutes, sit alone, and think you already have got a job in your dream company, whatever that company is, and at a very good salary. And think of that first day at work. You're finishing and you're coming home. Or think at the end of the first month, you're getting your salary. What will you do with your salary when you get first month? I want to hear from each one of you. So let's start with the one who wants to leave early. Shweta, what will you do when you get your first month salary?
I'll give it to my mom.
You get your mom. I knew that. Okay, Tarun.
Get into a hotel and have some fun.
Sorry, hotel.
I'll have the food I like, sir.
Sandosham. Good. Nice. So, Adit Dilepan, what will you do? வெளியில சொல்ற
Uh,
மாதிரி இல்லையா?
uh, I still didn't decided it.
You're still not decided. This is called visualization. Visualization means something has not happened, but you already assume, believe, you feel from every nerve that you already got it. So, Kavya, what will you do with your salary?
Maybe getting a PlayStation, sir.
PlayStation. How old are you? Surely you are at least 17, 18. But okay, I know there are guys 40, 45
20.
years old buying PlayStation, so it's okay. No problem. You are still only 19 or 20, right? So it's still okay. Not a problem. Good. PlayStation. Next, Ilangovan.
Sir, I would mostly buy foods. Like, I would go to a hotel with my friends and family to eat. The next thing I would do is
Oh, just
buying
to eat.
gadgets. Let's say I would like obviously like PlayStation and gaming PCs and things.
Sandosham. Wonderful, wonderful. So, Vigneshwari, what will you do?
I buy something for my family and save the rest.
Save the rest. Okay. Now, what you have to do is today, tomorrow, whenever, just sit, take some 15 minutes. Pono. 50, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Sit alone. Visualize that first month's salary in your hand. Just keep your hand like this. Assume that cut ticket. Okay, now nobody gives cash salary. Imagine your mobile ping, SMS comes 31st of the month or 30th of the month, whatever the last working day of the month. Salary bank holiday illa SMS pops up. Visualize. Usually salaries get credited to your bank account. Salary account. Correcta? SMS வரும். யூஸ்வலா பேங்க்ஸ்ல பணம் உள்ள வந்துச்சுன்னா ஓகேவா வெளியில போச்சுனாலும் வரும். பட் யூ ஆர் சீரியஸ்லி டூயிங் சம் ஒர்க், சடன்லி SMS comes. So you see என்ன SMS? It comes from your bank. It said credit inside the sink. Amount of say whatever XXX rupees credited salary from your company's name. Visualize that for 10 minutes. You visualize that and visualize whatever figure 1 lakh, 2 lakhs per month, 3 lakhs take home. Doesn't matter. 10,000, 20,000. When I say 10,000, 20,000, the joke தான் ஞாபகம் வருது. 20, right? 10,000, 20,000. Good. But think of that. Not a joke. Seriously, that I do that whenever, not every time, but many times, whenever I'm afraid of some things, when I go to write an examination, when I have to do a presentation, because fear is natural. But not everything that is natural need to be true. There are things that are artificial that can be as real. They have something called placebo effect. Google it. You know what placebo effect is? Doctors sometimes they give you tablets which have no function at all, but you believe that that will cure your sickness and it cures. And it's a real one, not a hypothetical, it's a real one. So you sometimes you believe something will work, even the thing really will not cure or solve anything, it will solve simply because you believe. It's called placebo effect. And these are real things. So sometimes you assume you go to an exam, you go to an interview, you visualize அந்த இன்டர்வியூக்கு ஒரு நாளைக்கு முன்னாடி, ஒரு வாரத்துக்கு முன்னாடி, தென் ஒரு நாளைக்கு முன்னாடி, தென் ஒரு மணி நேரத்துக்கு முன்னாடி. Visualize you are performing well. And it's very simple. If you want, you can wear that same dress, formal shirt, pant, or whatever that you will wear for interview. Wear that dress. எந்த dress you will wear for the interview, you wear that dress, sit, and then visualize that. Visualize yourself answering questions. Rehearsal, practice எல்லாம் பண்ணலாம். But visualize, don't talk. Close your eyes or sit in front of a mirror. Just sit, visualize. Because always when you visualize, you are living it twice, they say. Why you are living it twice? Once it happens in reality, once it happens in your mind. And usually we are afraid of first time. Do you realize that? நான் சொல்றது எதுவுமே ஸ்பெஷல் இல்ல. Nothing what I say is new or hypothetical or something philosophical or special. Common sense. You always have done something in your life for the first time. Cycle ஓட்டுறது, two-wheeler, car. First time, of course, you are afraid. Fear இல்லன்ட்டு இல்ல. You'll be bold, but even the boldest people have some fear or uncomfortable feeling, discomfort. But first time, have you been afraid when you do something for the second time? No, right? So why don't you make your first time the second time? How can you make first time second time? Because how? By visualizing it. So if you're afraid of an interview, already play that interview, but positively. Visualize that you're attending the interview with the same dress and boldly. Right? So already you have played it in your mind. First time is over. So the real interview when you attend, it is the second time. And this is again not hypothetical, it is real. It works. I do that all the time. Whenever I have a presentation, I have a public speech or whatever it is, I do a lot of public speaking, I do a lot of trainings, I do a lot of presentations. I always visualize, I talk to myself many times. I practice, I walk around. Right, I keep. So I do that. And I have already lived it once. So try this. You understand? So this is really, it works. This is called visualizing, and this helps you. And so first thing is you think of the benefits or the purpose or the good things that you will get once you do that work. On the other side, now you're already on the other side. Exams. You are afraid of exams. Think of the vacation. Vacation முடிஞ்சப்பறம் எப்படி இருக்கும்? You'll be happy, or vacation start on you will be happy. Semester exams எல்லாம் முடிஞ்சிடுச்சு. Think you're already there. And again, this is something that really, whenever I have a bad presentation, I need to, whenever I have a very difficult meeting or something, I always visualize at the end of the day when the meeting is over, how it will be. Inside you, you will feel happy, you will feel better. When you visualize the end of the interview, when you visualize the end of all the exams, when you visualize the end of the day when you have a difficult meeting and you feel that you have done it well, what is the worst thing that can happen? You will not clear the interview. But will you still live? Will you be alive? Yes. That's a good thing to be happy about, right? You visualize that, you will automatically think of the benefits, positive things after the event. That's number one. Second, visualize, run through that event. During the event, what you will do, right? That you visualize before the event has happened. That will really help you. And everything is a habit. Somebody has to tell you to brush your teeth every morning. Get ready, brush your teeth, take bath, go to school, college, nothing, right? You do it because it's habit. First day, difficult. Second day, difficult. You keep doing three, four, five times. So this visualization is also a habit. So you have to practice it. When you keep doing it three, four, five, six, seven times, you do it muscle memory. You know what muscle memory is, right? Cycle ஓட்டுறது, வண்டி ஓட்டுறது. For example, when you're driving, whatever it is. Do you think consciously? No. Keyboard, when you type, maybe first time you looked at A, B, C, D. But then hand muscle memory, right? It happens automatically without your brain getting involved. So you start doing it. Practice it. And this is your assignment. Yeah. So your assignment is you are going to practice visualizing any one event. It could be your exam, it could be your interview, and you're going to tell me next time, this is the event of which I am afraid of, and this is what I did by visualizing, and this was my feeling after 10 minutes of visualizing it. You're going to tell me. Shweta, sorry, you raised your hand.
Yes, sir. It's time to leave. I just have
Carry on, carry
I'm
on.
sorry.
Yeah, no problem, no problem.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Bye.
no problem. Yeah. So visualize that event which you are afraid of and share the results. Agreed? Okay.
Yes, sir.
And here is a secret I'm going to tell you. Funny thing, it's not a secret, it's a known thing. பெரிய பிட்டு காட்டி நான் ஜஸ்ட் என்ன இவ்வளோ ஃபிலிம் போடுறான் பில்டப் இதுக்கு நோ. The truth is, what I'm going to say is common sense. But many people don't realize 90% of the fears we have in life, right? They never happen. You don't believe me? No problem. No, you don't have to believe me. Think of the past. How many times have you been afraid of something? Many things. In reality, how many of them happened? 90% of our fears never come true. But 100% of the time, we lose our peace of mind being afraid of that. I think it was Napoleon, right? He's Napoleon. You can Google it. I think it's Napoleon who said a coward dies 100 times. Or maybe it's someone else who said that. Because most of the mistakes we make in our profession, right? Same with life, but I'll talk about profession. We do it because we anticipate something going wrong. How many of you watch Kung Fu Panda? Kung Fu Panda கேள்விப்பட்டிருக்கீங்களா? You heard. So who
Yes, sir.
watches Kung Fu Panda? Kung Fu Panda Part 1. There's a famous statement. என்னது? They say you meet your fate or destiny on the path you take to avoid it. Huh? You remember that?
Yes,
You meet your destiny on the path you take to avoid it. Meaning, நம்ம ஒண்ணு ஏதோ ஒண்ணு நடக்கக்கூடாதுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு பிளான் பண்ணி ஏதோ என்ன பண்றோமோ அதனாலேயே that will happen. So there is a villain அந்த என்ன அந்த டைகரா வில்லன் அந்த குங்ஃபு பாண்டால I forgot the name. அது வந்து it will be in jail. So they will be afraid.
Thailand.
Young, huh?
Thailand.
Sorry?
Tiger name, sir.
டைகர் பேர் என்ன?
Thailand.
டைலாக்.
Thailand.
டைலான்.
Something
They
like that.
say the tiger prison வந்து எஸ்கேப் ஆக போகுது அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு they will do some measures. அதை யூஸ் பண்ணியே அந்த டைகர் will escape. Yeah, and this is true actually. இது one second. So this is the truth. So as I said, most of the fears they never come true, and most of the mistakes we do are because we make some decisions purely based out of fear for things that may never ever happen. So that is why there's a beautiful thing about fear. And the biggest thing about fear, you said right at the beginning, you said fear is good, right? Because fear keeps you on track. In the fight or flight, Sonaila, at the beginning, you're living in caves. You know why that was actually good, that flight? Because it saved people. We are alive today. Human race is existing today because of that flight, only that fear. அந்த ஃபியர் இல்லாம போற ஒரு அனிமல் பாம்பு அப்புறமா போற வழியா ஆர் பேட் இந்த ஃப்ரூட் பாய்சனஸ் ஃப்ரூட் அதெல்லாம் தொட்டுனா என்ன ஆகும்? They would have died, right? And if no fear, the early human beings would have died early. And where is human race? No human race. So that fear is what saved us. Fear is important. Sometimes, how to say? Fear is not only important, fear is also good. Fear is what prevents us from being overconfident. Fear is what keeps us prepared. Fear, see, fearக்கு பயந்து நம்ம என்ன பண்றோமோ that will take us to what we fear, correct? But fear is what helps us to be prepared. So can you channelize that fear and make it work for you? So the difference between successful people and not so successful people is the not so successful people, the way they react to fear is they are afraid of something, they stop doing it, they don't do things. Or they do hasty things without thinking too much and they suffer. The successful people, they don't avoid fear. They also don't blindly, stupidly get into the fear. They face the fear in a sensible way. Because fear is an emotional thing, right? You agree? It's not a logical thing. You cannot face an emotional thing with an emotional response. Can you? So you have to face an emotional thing with logic. Logic is what is facing fear? Facing fear, sir. What is facing fear? ஒரு பெரிய நாய் வருது ரோட்ல. Facing that fear means அந்த நாயை பார்த்துட்டு நம்மளும் வழுவழுன்னு குறைக்கலாம். ஆர் கல் எடுத்து அடிக்கலாம். or stupidly go there and get bitten. At least we know what it means to face a dog on the road. ஒரு திருநாய் or a stray dog. But other fears how to face. எனக்கு இன்டர்வியூனாலே பயமா இருக்கு. எனக்கு I want to public speakingனா பயமா இருக்கு. You are saying go and do public speaking so you'll not be afraid of public. It's like a chicken and egg problem. To avoid fear of public speaking, I should go and do public speaking. How is that possible? Very simple. That is where facing fear means understanding what makes us afraid. Always, when you are afraid of something, interview preparation at home, you can always go logically. What are you afraid of? You are not afraid of interviews. You are not afraid of the interviewer. You are not afraid of failing the interview. You are afraid of some one particular thing. You are afraid of a few questions. What is your ambition after 5 years? Where do you see yourself? Say something about yourself. Or அச்சோ இது வந்து இந்த கம்பெனி வந்து டெலிகம்யூனிகேஷன் கம்பெனி இங்க வந்து என்ன நைக்விஸ்ட் ரேட்டு இங்க வந்து என்ன டெலிகம்யூனிகேஷன் கொஸ்டின் ஏதாவது கேட்டாங்கன்னா தெரியாது எனக்கு. ஸோ ஆல்வேஸ் we are not afraid of something in general. We are afraid of something in particular. Believe me, that's the beautiful nature of fear. Fear is never generic. Even if it is a generic fear, even when it is generic, there is one aspect of it that will be specific and you are afraid of one particular aspect. Fear of heights அப்படின்றாங்க கரெக்டா. எனக்கு ரொம்ப உயரத்துல எங்க போனாலும் பயம் இருக்கும் இதுன்ட்டு. Okay, it looks like a generic fear. But you know what is specific about it? What are you afraid of? Height-na. எனக்கு விழுந்துருவோன்ட்டா. You're not afraid of heights. You're afraid of falling from a height. But imagine that height is first floor. And கீழே வந்து ஒரு பெரிய இது இருக்கு. Trampoline இருக்கு. ஒரு பெரிய bed, soft bed இருக்கு. So now will you be afraid? So you are afraid of falling from a large height, from a tall place to a hard floor and breaking your bone, getting pain, blood, dying or getting injured. But the moment you dissect your fear, the moment you dissect your fear into components, what happens? I'm afraid of anything above third floor இருந்து உயரத்துக்கு எனக்கு பயம். அதனால செகண்ட் ஃப்ளோர்ல இருந்து I can fall. Even if it is a hard floor, என்ன மிஞ்சி போனா கை கால் எங்கேயாவது ஸ்க்ரேப் ஆகும் அவ்வளவுதான். Or I don't mind falling from a large height as long as it's a trampoline or water. How many of you swim? None of you. You swim?
Little bit.
Wow. Great, Vigneshwari. Now, do you dive? Dive அடிச்சதே இல்லையா? பின்ன எப்படி
Sir,
swimming? How do you do? தரையில அப்படியே தரையிலேயே
oh
swimming
yeah,
போயிட்டு you will
yes,
like
I
frogs you will go into water.
I
Dive, dive,
I
dive.
hear that too.
Dive. Do you dive?
Yes,
So swimming pool, have you done diving in a swimming pool?
yes,
So அதே ஹைட்ல will you jump out of a window from your apartment?
never.
So that means, are you afraid of height? If you're afraid of height, you will not dive in a swimming pool. But since you are diving in a swimming pool, you are not afraid of height. That means you should be jumping out of from the same height from your apartment. What is the difference? What is the difference?
There's water in the ground which would protect me, and I know swimming, so I can tackle it.
Ah, the same thing what somebody said earlier, Tarun or somebody said, right? Similar example. Water idna swim, I know. So two things here. One is you know what is waiting for you. There is water, not a hard floor. So it's not the height that is the problem. It is what is on the other side of the dive or jump. If on the other side of the jump there is water, nice. If there's a hard floor, but knowing that gives you confidence, removes your fear. You understood the first technique? Knowing what is there on the other side. Not only visualizing the benefits, that is one, but also knowing, having data. So, in your professional life, not only to get interviews or not only interviews, in your professional life, having data. I will give you an example. One second. Having data saves you a lot. ஒரு கிளாஸ்ல one professor, he's teaching something and he is teaching the power of observation and everything. And then he brings a box of cow dung. You know what cow dung is, right? He puts his finger into the cow dung and puts the same finger into his mouth. And he does not say anything. And students say, okay, he is our professor, நம்ம டீச்சர், ஏதாவது ஒரு மெசேஜ் இருக்கும். சும்மா வந்து ரீசனே
Same.
இல்லாம மாட்டு சாணி இதுல வந்து கை வச்சுட்டு அப்படியே வாயில வைக்க மாட்டார். ஏதோ ஒரு ரீசன் இருக்கு அப்படின்ற. பட் the teacher did not say anything. என்னவா இருக்கும் லெசன் யோசிக்கிறாங்க. Then he calls one student. For example, he calls Kavya. So the student goes, now can you do that? ஐயோ என்னது இது, என்ன இப்படி பண்ணுறது? பட் ஆனால் டீச்சர் கேட்குறாரு, ப்ளஸ் டீச்சரே பண்ணியிருக்காரு. தட் மீன்ஸ் there is a lesson in it. So Kavya also puts her finger into that and puts it in the mouth. Ah! So professor கேட்குறாரு, what did you learn from this? Sir, we learned tolerance. எதுவா இருந்தாலும் பொறுத்துக்கணும். இல்லை tolerance, great. Stupid people, that is not the lesson. நான் ஒரு விரலை உள்ள விட்டேன், இன்னொரு விரலை வாயில விட்டேன். Did you observe that? So that is the message. Data. When you are not having all the information, when you are not having all the data, what happens? Either you are afraid and you will not do anything, or you will do mistakes because you are afraid. But having a data, what is on the other side? Is it water, or is it a soft bed or trampoline, or is it hard ground, hard floor? That helps you. You can avoid fear. It mitigates or it reduces your fear. And the same, they say, no, the same thing. That can be one thing. One way is having the data. What is the other way? I'll give you an example. Have all of you handled babies? Some cousins or whatever. Have you seen baby வந்து ரொம்ப ஹைட்டா தூக்கி போடல, கொஞ்சமா தூக்கி போட்டு பிடிக்கிறது பார்த்துருக்கீங்களா? You have done? Is a baby crying at that time? Have you seen babies smiling even when somebody throws the baby? Is the baby not afraid? You தூக்கி போடுறாங்க, விழுந்துருமோ, பிடிச்சிக்குமோ? No. Even babies think, they have the instinct. You suddenly take your hand to the baby, it will do, reflex. So babies have fear. But why is a baby not afraid when you throw it? Because it trusts that person, that father, mother will catch. So faith.
Or it's also the baby doesn't know how falling down feels.
That's also another thing. Sometimes I'll come to that. That's a beautiful thing. Lack of sometimes overthinking பண்ணாம இருக்கிறதும் will prevent fear. Beautiful actually. இன்னைக்கு பயங்கரமா தருண் is in form. Good. True. I'll come to that. That was the next thing I was about to come to. So faith, trust. But it's not blind faith. See, people always mistake. Whenever people say faith, trust, they blind. You know what? I have faith. So heavy traffic road la kanna mudita, I'm going to walk, no vehicle will hit me. That is not faith. That's stupidity. Faith means what? Faith in the process. I have done my work. I'm afraid of exams. Fear. How to overcome? have prepared for the exam. 5 சாப்டர் 5 யூனிட் 5 யூனிட் ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ணியிருக்கேன். அஃப்கோர்ஸ் ஐ எம் நாட் சேயிங் எந்த கொஸ்டின் வரும், ப்ரொஃபஸர் எப்படி கொடுப்பாரு, சிலபஸ் எப்படி, ஐ டோன்ட் நோ. பட் the best possible extent I have prepared. So I have faith in myself. In what? Myself na enna? Faith in the process. Faith in the process means what? Faith in the process is a very important thing for professionals. Most of the professionals, they lack faith in the process. How many of you go to Sai Baba temple? Shirdi Sai Baba temple இருக்குல்ல, மயிலாப்பூர்ல. Have you been there? Or have you seen some? They would have written 2 words, Hindi words in that. என்னது? Always.
I get it concerned. So
Hmm? Because this is a very important thing. It may sound philosophical, but it's a very important thing I have personally seen and have coached or counseled people about faith in the process and something else. 2 words would be written. Usually on the people will see it and they will just read. There are 2 words. One is called Shraddha, one is Saburi. Shraddha means what? Faith. Saburi means what? Patience. It may sound philosophical. Come on, this guy is talking No, there is a very professional meaning behind these words, faith and patience. Faith and patience actually they go hand in hand. You cannot have one without the other. In professional, this I'll give you an example also. Faith is not blindly trusting. நான் எக்ஸாம் படிக்கல பட் ஐ ஹேவ் ஃபெய்த். என்ன கோயிலுக்கு போயிட்டு அன்னைக்கு எக்ஸாம் இன்னைக்கு முன்னாடி அன்னைக்கு காலையில் கோயிலுக்கு போகிற ஒரு தேங்காய் உடைச்சிடும், தட்ஸ் மை ஃபெய்த். That is what we think as faith, right? I believe in God. I have faith in God. I have faith in my mom's or dad's prayer. That's not faith. Faith is after you have done your work, after you have done the hard work, after you have done preparation. I have done my job. I have done my work. I have undergone the process. என்ன பண்ண ப்ராசஸ்னா என்ன பண்ணணுமோ அதை பண்ணுறது. Process is the set of steps you have to do to get something. A sequence of steps that you have to do to take you from where you are to where you want to be. This is what process means. One minute. Or to where I'm just writing it. So, after having done your work, you don't worry whether you will succeed or not. You don't fear because that is called faith. Faith that you have done what is needed. Number one, and whatever you have done is good enough for you to clear the interview or exam or something. And even if there are things unexpected in the interview or exam, your preparation, the process you have done is not a waste. அவ்வளோ கஷ்டப்பட்டு ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ண கரெக்டாக 5 கொஸ்டினில் நான் 4 கொஸ்டின் படித்தேன். நான் படிக்காத அந்த 5வது கொஸ்டின் வந்துச்சு. ஸோ என் ப்ரிப்பரேஷனே வேஸ்ட். People can easily lose faith. No, I will give you an example from today. I had a very important meeting today. Madhyana. Usually, sometimes at office, for me, it's very difficult to concentrate. Distractions நிறைய இருக்கும். ஸோ வாட் ஐ ஆல்வேஸ் டூ இஸ் இந்த மாதிரி பிரெயின் தேவையான ஒர்க்கு, வெரி சீரியஸ் ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜிக் ஒர்க் அதுக்கெல்லாம் ஐ டூ ஆஃப்டர் எவ்ரி ஒன் ஹேஸ் லெஃப்ட். ஈவினிங் 7, 8, 9 நைட் 1 மணிக்கெல்லாம் வரும் வீட்டுக்கு. இட்ஸ் நாட் தட் டியூரிங் த டே ஐ கான்ட் டூ தோஸ் திங்ஸ் டியூரிங் த டே. ஐ நீட் பீஸ் ஆஃப் மைண்ட், ஐ நீட் கான்சன்ட்ரேஷன். ஆனால் இன்னைக்கு ஐ ஹேட் ஒன்லி மார்னிங் டு ப்ரிப்பேர். மத்தியானம் 1:30 மணிக்கு இது மீட்டிங். பட் ஐ somehow managed to. Don't ask me how I somehow managed to. I did lots of preparation. 1:30க்கு I log in. Nobody is there. எனக்கு 2 பேர் தான் வரணும் ஒரு மீட்டிங்க்கு. Only one of them accepted. The other one did not even accept the meeting request. 3-4 minutes later, the one who did not accept the request, he comes. The one who accepted the request does not come. And this person ஆரம்பத்துல இருந்தே he is tense. He's saying, okay boy, why are you telling me all these things? He asks. I have prepared. 5-6 ஸ்லைடு ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ணியிருக்கேன். அதுக்கு டைம் இல்லைன்னா ஐ ப்ரிப்பேர்ட். பாஸ் என்கிற பாஸ்கரன் படம் பார்த்தீங்களா? அதுல வந்து பிட்டுக்கெல்லாம் ஒரு பிட் வச்சிருப்பாரு. யூ நோ தட்? ஸோ லைக் தட் அந்த ஸ்லைடுக்கெல்லாம் ஒரு ஸ்லைடு. இஃப் யூ ஹேவ் டைம் ஒன்லி 1 minute. ஐ ரிமெம்பர் ஐ டோல்ட் யூ இன் த பாஸ்ட் when the other person has only 1 minute, what elevator pitch மாதிரி. So I had a similar to an elevator pitch also. This person said he does not have time even for that. And then he was very irritated. He said, why are you telling me all this? I don't need to. And then he says, tomorrow I have a very important meeting. My mind is not in that. So I can't concentrate. Now, should I think all my preparation is a waste? That is what I wanted to think. But no, only because I prepared, I could give him a gist of whatever I had to in 2 minutes. He had only 2 minutes. I prepared for a half an hour meeting, but since I had prepared half a day for that half an hour meeting, I could do it in 2 minutes. I gave him the gist. I could ask him serious questions where I needed answers from him. I could do that. Tell him I could make him understand what is needed, and then I could ask him questions, get the answer. Now you tell me, just because I did not get the half an hour time, is it a waste? Prepare பண்ணது? The preparation is never a waste. That is called belief, faith in the process. Patience, very simple. Most of the time, the results of what you do will not appear immediately. இன்னைக்கே நடந்தாலும் நாளைக்கேனா it will not. It can happen day after tomorrow. It can happen after a week, after a year. If you do not have faith in yourself that you have done what is needed, that means it will work out. You will succeed. And the faith illana, you will not have the patience. And the patience illana, you will not have the faith. Faith and patience are related to each other. But only after you have done your job. If you have not done your work, it's not faith, it's stupidity. So, I don't know how many of you are spiritual. That is what actually you read in Bhagavad Gita also, right? Do your duty, don't expect the results. And this is basically what it is, faith in the process. It's not about doing your work and not expecting the result. If you go to corporate culture, you will hear something which looks different. It's not different, but many people misinterpret it. They say you should be result oriented. You should be focused on the end result. I don't care about what you did, how long you stayed in office, late night, weekend. I don't care. பண்ணியா இல்லையா results. Results are important for me. Results matter. எங்க கம்பெனில results matter. You keep hearing the word result a lot. Then you will think, ஒரு பக்கம் என்னடான்னா do your work, don't expect the resultsன்றாங்க. இன்னொரு பக்கம் ஆஃபீஸ்ல போனா resultsன்றாங்க. That is the contradiction. There is no contradiction. When they say results, they mean the process. They're not saying philosophically, you do your work, don't expect the result. When you do what you have to, results will automatically follow. Sometimes they take time. But if you have a faith that you have done your job, you will automatically get the result. That's called faith in the process and patience. இது இருந்துச்சுன்னா, you will not be afraid. When you're always systematic, organized, when you're always systematic na enna, headless chicken மாதிரி இங்க ஒண்ணு அங்க ஒண்ணு அங்க ஒண்ணு அங்க ஒண்ணு பண்ணாம purpose. You remember, start with why. You remember we talked about starting with why? Always you start with why. Have a purpose. Work backwards. Never work forward. Always start at the end. How you start at the end? You have the purpose. எதுக்காக பண்றோம்? Why? Then you work backwards. If you do that, and then you are systematic, you are organized, you are doing things methodically in a very structured manner, That is called the process, and you will have faith in the process and patience, then there's no fear. So this is a simple way actually. Any questions? We have been speaking, I've been speaking myself. Come on.
Sir,
Any questions or any
actually,
comments?
I actually do this thing in right opposite. I usually fear what and all could go wrong.
Sometimes
What
it's
and
good.
all,
Sometimes it's good.
uh,
See,
and it always happens better than that. So I feel happy.
also good. Also good. I'll tell you, that's also needed. In corporates, we also have to plan what can go wrong. But we should not base our actions purely believing what can go wrong. See, சொன்ன மாதிரி ஐயோ this is not going to happen, something is bad to happen, and if better something better happens, wow. But believe me, the law of averages, the more and more you think something is going to go wrong, it will. This is not philosophy, this is practice. This is practice. Because at the same time, as it helps you, what can something is go wrong, what can you see? You should see, it's not about negative thinking. You should prepare for the worst, hope for the best. You remember? What you say is preparing for the worst, which is good, but you should hope for the best. That's a difference. I think I missed one point. I was saying something, and Tarun, you said something. I said, yeah, that's why I was about to come to that. What was that? Or did I already talk about it?
Sir, it was that I said the baby will not know what will happen if it falls down, sir.
Sorry?
If the kid falls down, it will not know what will
Overthinking.
happen.
Overthinking. That's the last point. Yes. The same thing what we discussed earlier. Our Kung Fu Panda da. You meet your destiny on the path you take to avoid it. Overthinking panna. There are stories how, for example, I don't, yeah. Many times, over planning, this is called analysis paralysis அப்படின்னுவாங்க. You keep on analyzing something so much. Okay, first, one guy is praying to God, hey God, I should get a lottery ticket. He does not win. Second day, he goes to God, I want to win the lottery. Third day, and one fine day, God comes in front of me and said, bloody first buy the lottery ticket. First buy the lottery ticket. Most of us do not buy the lottery ticket. We are overthinking. Structured thinking, detailed thinking is வேற, but overthinking is different. Second, it's very important not to overthink because it's like muscle memory. When you drive, do you think too much? Because the moment you think what happens, there's high chance you'll get into an accident. When you do so much of planning, angles, no, no, no. So what a baby does, it does not overthink. It does not think at all. Sometimes it helps, but careful does not mean you don't think at all. That is called again faith. Faith in the process. When you have started from why, when you have started from one purpose and worked backwards in a systematic way, organized way, you will automatically have your thinking taken care of. That way, when your thinking is taken care of, you will not overthink. You know, the funniest thing, when you overthink, when you are not taught something clearly. Ironically, overthinking happens when you have not done any thinking in the early stages. When you're done Structured working and thinking, structured thinking and planning and everything in the early stages, you will not overthink generally. Overthinking is basically about worrying. Worrying is about fear. Fear is all about the unknown. So make the unknown as known, you will not be afraid. If, for example, Vigneshwari is a good swimmer, she dives. நாளைக்கு if I show her ஒரு இது height jump, what will you do first thing, Vigneshwari? I'll tell
I
you
would
jump.
think twice.
Huh?
I would think for a second.
No. Before that, what will you do?
I would check the height. I would, yeah.
Before the height, how will you do? Tongi papum, correct? We will just see what is there on the other side. You will see how tall the
Yes.
building is, and you will see what is there on the other side. And the moment you see what is there, your decision is made. Jump or don't jump. So that is what I mean when I say you make the unknown known. When you make the unknown known, one way or the other, either you don't have fear, you jump, or you have fear and you don't do things. Not having fear does not mean doing stupid things. That's a different thing. I've been told not to fear, so I'll just go and jump. No. Fear is an emotional thing. The first thing it does is it stops our logical thinking. So, how do you attack it? The weapon, logical thinking. Sometimes it's not easy. அதை பத்தி பேசுறது it's good, but doing it is difficult. That is why you cannot suddenly do it. You have to practice it. You have to do it once, like brushing your teeth, once, twice, thrice. And what is the best situation to practice? Already in an interview? No. Already when the fear is facing you, already in a very critical situation? No. When you are not in a critical situation, சின்ன சின்ன விஷயத்துல, at home, at college, where the risk of failure is not very high, where you don't have too much to lose, it's okay. அந்த டைம்ல அந்த டைம்ல when you practice, it becomes a habit. And then when the real situation comes, muscle memory, without thinking, you will implement it. So that's the technique. So it's all about practice. Just like an interview, we have been preparing, right? Say something about yourself, elevator pitch. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Why do you want to work in our company? Blah blah blah. All these questions. அவ்வளவுதான். நம்ம இவ்வளவு நாள் என்ன பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோம்? It is basically ways of facing your fear. We are making that unknown. என்ன question வரும், என்ன answer தெரியாது. You are making it known because questions are usually standard. So you are not in the unknown anymore because you know the questions compared to others who are not prepared. You are now prepared, right? With all these sessions, and these sessions prepare you not only for the interview but for the career and life beyond that. So that's the thing about fear. Good. Any questions before we close? In fact, the last two sessions recording I have not shared. I will share that with this. Please give me, it's hectic. Even weekend I was busy, but I will share it and yeah, I'll put it on YouTube and share the link. Yes, any
Sir,
questions?
actually, that resume
Review.
review.
So இப்படி பண்ணலாமா? Next session we will do nothing except resume review. Huh?
Okay, sir.
Do one thing. I know you have already shared a few times on the group, right? Interview preparation group. I think Shweta has added you all to the other group also, but on the interview preparation group, on the WhatsApp group, share a few resumes. உங்களுக்குள்ளே பேசிட்டு you tell me இன்னும் ஒரு மணி நேரத்துல 2-3 resumes review பண்ணலாம். Select some 5 resumes that we can review. எவ்வளவு டைம் இருக்கோ we can resume அவ்வளவு resume will review for 1 hour. We'll do nothing except இது. And can we meet again on Friday, Thursday or Friday, one of the 2 days? Meet பண்ணலாமா? Today is Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
Thursday or
Okay, sir.
Friday, we will discuss on the
Yes.
WhatsApp group. But next session, kulla you pick some five resumes, and and whatever resumes you put it on, we can review. See comments. Don't think oh the resume select பண்ணல அஞ்சு resume. No, no. Comments are usually the same. அதுக்கு மேல ஏதாவது விட்டு போயிருந்துச்சுன்னா specific for your resume, you can always ask me. Yeah, good. Thanks a lot. Let me stop the recording.